Welcome back to wagertalk.com. It's the new segment. It's called Question and Answers with Cheetah. And each week we'll open it up on Twitter and you guys can ask Cheetah anything. And we'll take the best questions and we'll bring them here to that week's video. And let's get things started with a question from Off the Hook Jose. And he wants to know Wichita, Arizona. To start off, and then second part of that, can Utah make a run in the tournament?
Yeah, I think the Wichita State-Arizona game is going to be fantastic. I know it was picked early this morning, which is a little low. My power ratings had it at 1.5, which I think is where it currently is sitting. The one edge I think Wichita State does have is that they just played a game, and they played really well, and they have some confidence. And Arizona's had a longer layoff since the Pac-12 tournament ended last week. And so in these types of games, I like to, and Brian mentioned it when he was talking about some of the other ways you can bet the tournament. If you have a team that you're worried may start slow and you don't have access to endgame, at least circle a potential second half bet there. If Arizona's fine from the get-go and it's close at half or they're even winning at half, then you don't need to force a second half bet. You know, worst case, you didn't lose any money. But if they're down 7 or 8 points and you're getting a much better adjusted number versus playing pick or -1.5 now. And so that's my recommendation on this game is I think Arizona does get the win. I think they're a team that can actually make a run. Let me just say it's ridiculous how strong this region is when you have a 6-11 matchup that's Arizona and Wichita State. I know people have been hearing it the last 2 days, but it really is insane in my opinion. This is the number 1 seed Kansas's region. When you have Maryland and Cal in there as well, who I think could make runs if they win a couple in big spots. And so overall, Arizona's definitely got the talent, the coach experience to make a run. Whether or not they do it or not, we'll see. But this is a game where I'm not going to be betting pregame. I'll be looking to see if there's some value in game or Arizona second half play.
In the second half of his question, do you think Utah can make a run?
Not really. I don't. And it's not because of that game Saturday. I think it was Saturday in that Pac-12 title. They looked horrible. I think they're a team that's a nice regular season team. Coach Larry Kraskowiak, I think is how you say it correctly. Kraskowiak, there you go. Yeah. He's fantastic.
Played in the NBA.
He's really good X's and O's. He gets the best out of what he has. They still don't have a ton of talent other than, I guess, Podol down low that's like really NBA ready after DeLon Wright left last year. I've actually been surprised how well they've done this year. Come tournament time, I don't think they have enough that can really take over a game and win some of these close ones down the stretch. So ultimately, I think they could even lose to like a Gonzaga squad or even Seton Hall if they beat Gonzaga in that second round. So from the get-go, Fresno State's a team I obviously loved. That's going to be probably a pretty close game for most of the time. It's not a team I think I can see really making a deep run.
All right, we've got another question for you. This one comes from Kellen Laws. It's on Twitter, Coach_Laws. And he wants to know Seton Hall, Gonzaga, Iowa Temple, Iowa State, Iona. Thoughts on fading the public dogs?
Yeah, I won't go into each of the games, but in general, his question is, are public dogs worth playing blindly just when you see them? And I don't think that's always the case. Particularly, like, for example, Iowa, excuse me, I'm going to have to cough because I'm sick. And I'm talking a lot, so I apologize if that just broke the microphone. But Iowa is a team we talked about on the podcast last night that was like a 1 or 2 seed a month and a half ago. Now they're a 7 seed. They're maybe laying a little bit of a shorter number than they would have a couple weeks ago because of this perception. So yeah, is it positive to fade a public dog? It definitely could be in that case. But there's other spots where Iowa State, Iona. Iona is a team that can run and play a similar style as Iowa State. They might be the right side, even though they're considered a public dog. I think they do have a real chance. So it's not something that I would blindly play. And you see that a lot of times on Twitter, especially football as well. You see public dog, automatic fade. I don't think that's always the case. You need to look into all the variables.
And the final question comes from Las Vegas Eric. And he wants to know, love to hear your thoughts on Hawaii and California.
Yeah, I made a prediction a few weeks back that I thought Hawaii would be in the Sweet 16. And that was before the Big West tournament. They pulled that out. They won. And they got, in my opinion, one of the worst possible matchups they could have, especially as far as the 5 seeds go or 4 seeds go, whichever seed it is. You have a bracket here.
Yeah, Cal's a 4.
It's a 4. Okay, thanks. So the other 4s, I think like Iowa State we just talked about, that's a team that's much more beatable than Cal. They play a similar game. Cal's just a more talented Hawaii-type team. And they're athletic enough to hang with Hawaii, which is where their advantage is, especially in that conference. and why they did so well is they have length and athleticism and speed and can press and put pressure on teams that they're not used to seeing. Cal, they've seen it. They're used to athleticism. I think ultimately Cal's going to win the game. And I didn't want to play the spread. I haven't made a play in the game, but I did make a play on the total, and that's actually up. You can get it in my my page, my package for the weekend, and I think it's got some value here on the number for the total.
I think with the Hawaii, pay attention to when they travel to the States. If they got here early, I think that's a big advantage. Anytime Hawaii's traveling to the mainland. So, and I don't have that information. I have people out there who are supposed to be getting it for me, but at this point I don't have it.
Yeah. And Hawaii was a team that played super all year, and then after they had the second meeting with Cal Irvine where they beat Cal Irvine in Irvine and basically locked up the division, it was like they were still winning, but they were life and death in so many games. It's like, I don't know if they, peaked too soon.
Well, it's a really good point. I think they just were satisfied with probably having the conference locked up, and they didn't really care. But it can be bad to get in that rut, in that like habitual, hey, we're just going to kind of go through the motions, and then come tournament time, you might get some scares. You might not be able to play.
Colts, so many years in the NFL.
So many times.
Shut things down.
Just can't turn it on like that.
Yep. All right, great stuff. Hey, guys, I hope you like this new segment that we're doing with Cheetah. So, hey, every week, the day before we do videos, Cheetah will send out some tweets. I'll send them out. Send those questions in, and we'll keep doing it here at wagertalk.com. And, guys, don't forget, every Tuesday, it's $2 Tuesday. We highlight one capper, feature his best bet, and we offer it to you for just $2. It's a great way to introduce yourself to Wager Talk or to introduce yourself to a new capper. Check it out each and every week. See who the $2 capper is at wagertalk.com. Enjoy the tournaments, guys. We'll be back next week.